I'm gonna pee my pants here. I can't see.
Do you understand the difference between high and low?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think. Am I close to the edge?
You're very close.
I'll get closer.
Is there anything you need to tell me about this trail?
I don't know anything about this trail. People that go to see the Grand Canyon are suckers.
We're in Canyonlands National Park. We've stopped here at the Visitors Center. We're going to check out the White Rim Trail conditions. We're going to see if it's passable, if it's doable, what the details are. Hopefully it'll be alright. It's a little drier than we were expecting, so that's good. But there's rain in the forecast. We'll see.
So what level of anxiety were you feeling right now?
Were
you hoping it just wouldn't happen at all?
Yeah, a little bit. It was the weather. I wasn't too worried about the road. All right, got the report on White Rim Trail is passable, but it's wet. So we're gonna go east to west and see what we can do. See if we can see how far we can make March and there's snow.
Yeah. So it was quite a drive to the mineral bottom switchbacks, and it didn't get real fun until you started going down them. It was kind of out of the middle of nowhere. All of a sudden, you start descending. So
yeah, I personally love the direction we did. I would rather go down than. I wouldn't say I would rather go down than up, but I love the view from going down.
I think there was also some sentiment about getting the hard stuff out of the way first.
Oh, yeah.
And since Murphy, Hogback, and some of the other places were kind of more towards this end of things, this would be a faster turnaround, so to speak, if we had to hightail it out, right?
That too, yeah. And I mean, if you're doing the hard things first, you know right up front, like you were saying.
It was steep looking over the edge. I wish we had more film looking down the canyon, but I mean, you could record hours and hours and never actually show all that you could see.
As far as shelf roads go, this wasn't bad, but then we didn't have any traffic on it. It's cool to be like, if you're driving up this, you'd be like, how are we getting up there?
Now, Mineral Bottom was kind of just quiet. It was just nice, easy sand, soft sand driving, basically. Yeah. Everything was well packed for us, too, since it had so much moisture.
Yeah, there wasn't any mud on the road issues. Yeah.
Now, yeah, I've seen some video along the Green River where they've had rock falls and things where it is very narrow to get by. And it would really be tough to come this length from the other side, from the Schaefer switchback side, and find that you couldn't pass here. There's a good chance you wouldn't have had fuel enough to turn around and drive all the way back. Yeah,
and here you're not getting large size trucks past this.
Yeah, full-size truck would be a challenge.
This was cool.
This was one of the places you were the most scared about because you've also seen videos where this is full of water.
Yeah, like with no water, I love the sand through here. But right here, that was the water right there. and there was none. I was so happy.
So this was coming up from the backside of Hardscrabble Hill. And you're still along the river, but...
Yeah. So we have this little goat that I got Mike, and he's our little mascot. I love him in the
He's the screaming goat.
Yes. So anytime I get nervous, I gotta push him. Also, right here, I forgot I was in two-wheel drive. So we went up that in two-wheel drive, and it was a little bit touchy at the top, but it made it fine.
I think at this point we were starting to relax a little bit.
Yeah.
I think right now is actually a good time to talk about preparation. We had to get our permits and everything for this all the way back in November. And it's one of those things where you're up at 4 a.m. trying to click on a website as fast as you can. And even at that, we did not get the campsites that we wanted.
Mm-mm.
And we were lucky to get permits in a time frame that we actually could go in.
Yeah.
So I understand how they're trying to limit the number of people in there, but I guarantee you that there was a lot of people that bought permits that were not on the trail. Yeah,
on that. I just have to say these views through here are spectacular. All of it. You get up in here and I just love the colors.
Now we didn't do the hike to Fort Bottom Ruin. It's way out there on the end, and there is some ruins out there, and they don't really know the purpose of those ruins other than that you can look almost 360 degrees down on the Green River and see all the traffic that would go by.
Dang, why didn't we do that?
We were worried about getting to our campsite because we weren't sure how fast we could maintain speed on the trail.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm gonna pee my pants here.
Pee my pants.
So this was the first real challenging area. And you look at the video and you go, yeah, it doesn't look so bad, but look at the side hill next to where the Bronco is descending. That gives you more of a scale of how steep you're coming down this.
Okay.
Okay, see if you can hold it right there.
Yeah, the camera does not. It flattens everything out. This
Actually shows kind of how steep it is.
Daddy, that's a little close.
Okay.
Straight?
Yep. Don't turn. Don't turn.
Yeah, I was trying to get her closer to the edge to avoid those rocks you see,
Straightforward.
but it didn't work so well because she wasn't really trusting her spotter.
Yeah.
Keep going. You're good.
So she had already started turning.
Turn?
A little bit. You're turning already.
Look at my point
Yeah,
of
I'm
view.
headed for a cliff.
I get it. I get it.
Good.
I'm headed for a cliff. Yeah.
But really, it's just a little bit further down. There's a bigger rock I was trying to get her to avoid.
And then a big
And
rock.
if she had been a little further left,
Yeah, right there.
she would have avoided those rocks. She would have been a little more off camber, but she wouldn't have had those rocks that made
guys,
her
you okay?
squeal a little bit.
Yeah, it's fun.
Why do you think it's fun? Should I go over that rock or?
Yeah, you're fine going over it.
Okay.
I don't get it.
Oh yeah, that's that'll get you.
I mean, this is steep here too. I don't know what that was.
I think you turned on one of the lockers,
Okay, this isn't that bad.
which when you're descending like this, it doesn't really do much.
Yeah.
It would have been the rear locker.
Or the anti-sway.
I think you were already
Pretty
in
campsites down there.
rock crawl mode, but I had switched off the rear locker just so you can turn a little easier. And I think when you saw that not all the lights were on, you were like, I need my binky. Lock it all up.
Okay, turn in towards the wall.
This is steep.
Okay.
Okay, and just follow this around, right in the main tracks.
We got a little too close to the wall on this one.
12 minutes.
A little bit.
Yes, and sorry for the very fast pan of the Green River.
Do you want
Doing
in?
great.
Yeah. Woo! Okay.
What a view.
Do you want
I
in?
love that view.
Keep going.
Whoa. Look, you guys, look at those rocks on there. Those are cool.
Yeah. That's rock.
How's it going, crazy off-road driver?
Oh, that was challenging. That was. I don't know if it was better to go up or down it.
I bet it's better to go up there.
Don't fall off, Dad, or trip.
He will be fine. He's on 4 toes.
4 toes. I hope he has more than 4 toes. Hope he has 10
The
toes.
kids were really good on this
He
trip.
has 1,000
They actually were well humored the whole time. I don't think anyone had like a breakdown, I'm melting down moment. I
No,
think they,
other than your wife.
Okay,
No.
turn.
Look, okay, this is, look how steep that is. And the road's really wide in all of, yeah,
Good.
but it's steep. And in the moment, yes, when you're in it and anxiety's peaking, it's a lot worse.
So going back to our preparation, I'd say this was the steepest part right here, actually.
Oh, right here, yeah.
But going back to our preparation, we got individual sleeping bags for us instead of our shared sleeping bag. We made sure we all had pads. We made sure that we were set for cold weather camping. That was really our biggest concern. And we were prepped for doing our own self-extraction. A couple of things, and we'll talk about this later, they recommended traction boards and chains. And I just couldn't bring myself to do chains. I just thought it was dumb.
No, not on anything like that.
Other than that, it was the typical prep with our ARB fridge. As far as the food, we made sure that we had adequate room in there. We planned out meals. We wanted to make sure we had hot meals as often as we could. And that we had diverse food groups, all those kind of things.
Yeah.
I can't see. Go check.
Made sure we all had good shoes, good boots,
Yep. Yeah.
plenty of water. We had excess water. We had tons of extra water.
Yeah, but that's a good thing.
Careful. Whoa. Here. We'll go like that.
I look like you're picking up anything.
Yeah.
I would not trust Mom on this one.
Ouch. Not nice.
This wasn't even as hard as the
Said he
other
wouldn't trust
one.
Mom on this one.
Oh,
Look
jeez.
at that.
Which you can't fault him, and that's not a dig at Jessica. It's just that Jessica's more vocal when she gets nervous in the car. And I think some part of Emmett wanted to drive too.
Yeah.
Just high, right?
And it's starting to snow.
Do you understand the difference between high and low?
No.
Yeah, I didn't.
Or
think so.
torque.
I understand the concepts. Sorry, it's just so fun to watch. It's just remembering all of this.
So this was right after we found the broken down motorcyclist, and we actually gave him a ride up to the top of Murphy Hogback to be able to hike the trail to the island in the sky, which was a 5-mile hike. But I mean, we offered to give him a ride out, and I mean, he was there by himself, which was not a good plan.
No.
And with untested equipment on his bike, and it just got the better of him. But he was prepared, he was well dressed, all those kind of things. We also came across 5 students that were up there that were not prepared and just had cameras, and there was no way they got out before midnight in the snow and wind and
They were hiking
badness.
up to the island in the sky. This is the other side of Murphy Hogback, and Mike got to drive this one.
One more passenger. More passenger.
Okay, good. More passenger. Okay, you're good.
It's steep too.
Now, one of the things that actually made this trip a lot more comfortable in the Bronco was actually getting that aluminum rack built that went onto the back. And a big shout out to Bob Otto for helping with that. You're awesome, Bob. And it was aluminum. I'd considered this concept for a while. I saw that someone else had made a similar kind of rack. And I wanted it to be as light as possible and as non-cumbersome, I guess you could say. And so Bob helped me make that rack, and we had our folding chairs up there, we had our tent up there, we had our extra fuel can up there. It just made a world of difference. Oh, and the brick down table that we brought with us.
We're all tucked in for the night. I think we're gonna be warm enough.
And it's hailing. It went through the roof.
You gonna be warm enough?
No, it's too cold.
Emmett, hi.
Hi, I feel warm enough. Really?
We do have our buddy heaters, so.
And we're well ventilated.
Tree,
We're double staked and we're tied down at the corners, so.
Yeah, and I almost flew away because the wind is so powerful. The stakes couldn't keep it down by itself.
Yeah. We're gonna be good for the night. We're not too worried about it. Well, we made it through the night. We rewarded with this beautiful blue sky. Oh,
I don't look tired or anything.
man, it was cold. It hit about 20 degrees out last night. Wind did stop, thankfully. My kids are hardier than I am.
The tent stayed up, but I couldn't sleep and it was so noisy. But when we woke up, there's ice and it was so cold at night. It froze into ice and I stepped on it and here what it looked when I stepped on it.
Yeah, we parked the Bronco that close to the tent to hopefully keep the tent from getting just hammered and beat to death.
Yeah. See this?
Wow, guys.
Yeah, all the snow was from overnight. It hit 25 degrees out. Actually, a little less, I think.
And when the wind came up, it went from nothing to gale force in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
You scared?
Look how close we're gonna be.
The GoPro's not doing it justice.
It's not. It's just gorgeous.
Don't drop it.
Really, the actual road conditions in this area was significantly rougher than previously. It just seemed a lot more potholed, a lot more bouncing. You couldn't go as fast.
Don't drop it.
Am I close to the edge?
You're very close.
I'll get closer.
You gotta go.
Oh, look at that waterfall.
Yeah.
There's a waterfall?
Well, it's a place where a waterfall happens. Man, you would not want to come through here with water running.
No.
Pick you up and carry you over the edge.
Yep.
You get stuck back here, you just stay.
I'm pretty sure we're still getting red dirt out of the Bronco.
Yes. Honestly, most of the road, there's a lot of it that's just road. And dirt driving, little rocks, like this.
Even though we saw vehicles out there that only had high four-wheel drive, I feel like you can do it with that.
Right there.
But if anything in the road conditions goes sideways, you're in a bad way.
Yeah.
We were down in that.
Is there anything you need to tell me about this trail?
I don't know anything about this trail. I know that some people have been down this with trailers, so it can't be too bad.
Yeah. I mean, it looks a little steep here, but not.
I love Lathrop Canyon Road. This was steep in here, but after everything we've done, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, and I want to say on the way out, all this, the little traces of snow that you see on here, by the time we came out, it was all gone. Even though this was really scenic and not hard to drive, if you were in here when it started raining, you were in a bad way. It was going to be a bad day for you.
Yeah. I mean, you're crossing these washes back and forth the whole way once you hit the bottom. Finding the trail was part of the fun.
I really believe your best thing to do if you got caught down here in the rainstorm is find the highest point you can drive up to and go there.
Okay, I can't see over here, so tell me before I hit something.
This was the only difficult turn.
Yeah.
Off camber.
Kind of drop a little. There's nothing super technical, but it was a lot of steepness and
Yeah.
little things like this.
It's always a prudent thing to just have a spotter get out, and then you never have to worry about you're going to run into things or have a problem. Did have my ham radio on this whole time. I don't know that I spoke to anybody. I did have a couple of contacts come through, especially on the APRS system. I was hitting contacts over 50 miles away, which was pretty awesome. And so there was people out there that we could have spoken with, but it was kind of nice just to keep it our family. That was a great piece of equipment to have. That we
On the river. We can eat the picnic tables. You scared me for a minute. I didn't see there was you're gonna There's no land. Alright, you guys.
From all
we're
those
here.
times I've driven into the
Stretch. Don't put your fingers in any holes.
Oh.
Spiders living up.
Lane was so excited she was able to touch a lizard down there because she got really close to it.
They had a good break. I could tell they were kind of getting tired being in the back, and it was a good chance to stretch their legs, and they got to go climb some rocks and chase lizards. And there were some crows that obviously had made this their area for feeding, and people fed them plenty.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see it right there. It's hard, but there's an arch, and it blends in so well.
In a way, it's not even an arch. It's just
What
the
do you
remnants of the white rim.
Would you walk on that? I think I'll pass.
I so wanted to walk it. It's actually illegal to walk it, but I so wanted to
right
walk it.
here.
And I would have done
right
it.
there.
I just didn't need anyone to turn me in.
No, or it to fail.
From Lathrop Canyon over to Schaefer Trail, we saw more people in that section than we saw all of the previous trip.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's the more popular entrance and if people just go and then turn around.
Well, I have heard that people, they'll go down and drive to Lathrop Canyon without permits.
Alright,
And
this is Schaefer
I've
Trail.
heard of Park Service personnel just kind of letting them do it.
Until they don't.
Well, I figure they're probably pretty close to being able to find help and that kind of thing. They're not far from the main visitor center, so if someone is going to get in trouble, they might as well get in trouble there, right?
Yeah. Schaefer Trail is actually the worst road conditions of the whole thing. It's amazing how shaded this whole area is back here.
The switchbacks on Mineral Bottom is worse.
Yeah, after doing our whole trip, and this being the last thing climbing up it, we were like, oh, no big deal. Until we got to the mud and ice, and that was definitely hairy.
Yeah, I'm glad you were driving. And yeah, the switchbacks on Mineral Ridge or Mineral Bottom were tighter and all that, but
But it got sun on it during the day, versus Schaefer Trail that doesn't.
yeah.
We saw a couple people come down with street tires on their truck, and they wanted to know other options versus going back up it, because I think they practically slid down it.
Yeah, hey, look at that. That's full on snow.
I'm surprised they have this open. White Rim Trail. That thing's no joke. We started with going backwards, is how they would say it. We went to Mineral Bottom. Those switchbacks and everything were impressive.
So we went along the river, and that was a really tight squeeze. That we did Hardscrabble Hill. Hardscrabble was steep. It was really interesting, super scenic.
Roads, a lot of shelf road driving. I could see how people, when they are say you're scared of heights, don't do White Rim, because you're constantly on tight roads next to edges, cliff edges.
Murphy Hogback was steep, no doubt. I drove that part. It wasn't, there again, not technical, just steep.
I thought it would be nothing after that, but there were some obstacles, just smaller, minor ones, nothing crazy. I
And I
think,
found 5 lizards.
and Helene found 5 lizards.
And also I got to drive the whole, some of the way.
Yeah, Emmett got to drive some of the way, just on the straight sections. Lehman Canyon.
Lehman Canyon. Do that one. I mean, if you're set to do White Rim, hit Lehman Canyon, plan it around lunch. We did a picnic there. What I loved is that you are constantly on these shelf roads and you're looking down into these wash canyons, and Lehman Road gets you down actually in there, and you get down there, steep road, but nothing.
It's just a good
Yeah.
change up from the other kind of driving that you do.
Yep. And you're along the wash bed, I guess it would be. and you get to park out near the river. Loved it. That was one of my favorite spots.
Musselman Arch was really cool to go see. Just as a reference, we filled up in Moab a full tank of fuel, and when we were on the trail, just because we wanted to put our spare fuel can in, we did. That was an extra 3 gallons. I am still at about 2/3 of a tank of fuel. So big props to Ford for making an engine that off-road does not suck down the fuel like crazy.
White Rim Trail is difficult or easy depending on your vehicle. The weather around here can change in a hurry. I can definitely see that weather conditions can take this trail from enjoyable and doable to extremely difficult or impassable. Don't take a trailer, don't take a camper, just take a 4-wheel drive, high clearance vehicle and you will enjoy it. Anything less, you are going to struggle and it's not going to be fun.
Don't forget to bring the tents.
Yeah. The visitor center recommends bringing traction boards. I understand their purpose and use. Their other recommendation is chains. I can see if it's muddy, having a set of chains there would probably help. Now, my first reaction was chains are stupid, you're on rocks. In the muddy sections for the climbs that you'd have to make, if it was muddy, chains would actually be helpful. Traction boards, if you're going to be there all day and all night doing 100 meters of hill, that's going to be absolutely miserable. Bring the chains over the traction boards. But more than anything, don't show up with a set of street tires on your 20-inch or 22-inch wheels. You're not going to make it. Airing down is absolutely imperative. Yes. Having that good traction patch with a good tire. Eileen, what did you think about it?
It was good. Also, I touched on the orange lizard. I touched it. I touched under it, and I was super close to it. It was like amazing.
Yeah, Emmett, what did you think?
It was awesome, and always be compared with food. Some of the people that came down was almost out of food and all that. Always bring a ton of food.
Lots of water.
Lots of water, and don't forget a cooker.
Hot food is worth it.
Yeah, hot food is worth it. Don't bring cold food.
And on that day, night, we had movie night and we watched Free Guy.
That's right.
And
So-
also tie down your tents super good because the wind up there is so crazy, almost blew away our tent.
Yep, and so kids had fun. They did really good. That was a lot of time in the car. They did really well with that. On the way out, we thought we'd have to do Potash Road. We were told that Schaefer Trail was closed. As we were coming to the junction, we saw the gate was open. We saw some cars coming down and asked them if they came down Schaefer Trail. They said yes. So yay, we got to go up Schaefer Trail. And it was muddy in sections and snow covered in other sections. And it was surprising that they actually had it open under those conditions. I'd rather be going up it than down it.
Yes.
But in the end, we finished it all. We great. We loved it. We'd recommend if you have the vehicle for it, do it.
Have a good time.